Hello and welcome to Evolve Yourself podcast. I'm Lahaina. I'm a confidence coach and I'll be your host. This is a space for thought-provoking conversations on a variety of topics from healing and coaching modalities, spirituality to health hacks and entrepreneurial tips. This is a place for inspiration, sharing, learning, questioning, and exploration to lead you to your next breakthrough and the path to evolve yourself. Today, I'm interviewing an amazing guest. Kyal, he's a trauma-informed facilitator, life coach, mentor, and speaker who has invested over $100,000 in personal and professional growth. He has helped hundreds transform their lives. Born with Charcot-Marie-Tooth, a degenerative nerve disease affecting 2.6 million people globally, Kyal uses his journey to inspire others to see challenges as opportunities for growth and connection. As an NDIS support worker and life coach, he empowers individuals to embrace holistic healing, overcome resistance, and rediscover their authentic selves. Kyal's mission is to inspire humanity to remember their inherent power and limitless potential. Hi, Kyal.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. Thank you so much for being here after reading this amazing bio. I'm so curious. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. I wanted to start with something light and fun. Tell our audience what is something fun or surprising about you that most people don't know?
Hmm, fun and surprising about me that most people don't know. Do you want to go deep or do you want me to go surface?
Whatever is coming up for you.
Well, I had two things come in mind. So one was my disease that I've got. People don't know unless I tell them. And the second thing is what's fun and exciting is that I'm gonna go straight in there. I'm gonna go deep, and it's I've never been in a relationship with a woman before.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing. It is surprising. And yeah, is this something you normally talk about openly or you keep it to yourself?
No, I don't generally talk about it too much. I have talked about it before, but I've sort of resisted it. But now it's like I'm open for possibilities in my life.
Great.
I'm very much open now than I was a few years ago. I mean, I did apply for Married at First Sight 5 years ago,
That
and I
would be
almost
so fun to see you on TV.
almost got through. Unfortunately, I was traveling overseas at the time that they were filming. Otherwise, it would have had me on. So,
You know, I went on a date with a guy and he was pretty handsome. I didn't know anything about him, but as soon as I showed my friend his photo on the app, she's like, "Oh, he's famous. He's been on Married at First Sight." And then I Googled him and then yeah, he was quite popular on some of his episodes. And when we went on a date, I asked him about his experience, and he said, yeah, his show went all the way to like Japan and overseas, and he got so much love and hate, and yeah, and dealing with navigating that kind of like becoming famous. But
nice.
that's something fun about me that no one knows.
There you go. We're going straight into relationships then by the sound of it.
I love it. This is one of my favorite topics. And tell me, you have invested so much on your own personal and professional growth. What inspired you to dive into this journey?
I feel like, I mean, ever since I left school, like I love school so much. Like I loved school. I went straight from school to TAFE to university. So this is over the last decade, mind you. Um, but I've just loved learning and I've loved improving myself. And that just comes from, I don't know where it comes from. I think it just comes from of wanting to grow. And I knew deep down that I had this desire to inspire people. And it wasn't until three and a half years ago that that dramatically took a turn where I wanted to change and wanted to actually fulfill that purpose in my life.
Amazing. Yeah. I started my personal development journey in 2017. My friend invited me to attend to a landmark forum special evening. That's how they call their free, like 3 hours event. And yeah, I remember being so fascinated when I started to understand all this stuff around mindset, and behavior, and like everyone is kind of struggling with the same things. And I felt really connected to people. And yeah, really understanding a little bit more around like psychology and human behavior. And I was so fascinated. And I started doing a bunch of courses, and I was like, I never felt this passionate about going to school or uni or TAFE. And yeah, I just fell in love with all aspects of understanding how we click. Because I think all my life I had those questions, why are we here? What are we doing? Why are we doing things like this? Why it's so hard to change? Why we have nasty habits, like all this stuff.
I used to get my brother, my little brother, my brother who's like I'm the oldest of five, but my brother used to always get so annoyed. He's like, "Why do you always ask why?" He
You're
like that.
the annoying kid, like, why,
Yeah, like,
why,
but
why?
it's like it's so important because I find if you don't ask why, well, then how are you going to know what the hell's going on? It's like that. It's like the snowman or Frozen. He
Hmm,
always asks why,
why?
why, why.
Yeah, and I think we have that profile of the seeker. Not everyone has that, but I really see myself like I'm always seeking answers and adventure and, joy and fulfillment. So I think that it has a little bit to do with our personality as well.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And your story is so inspiring. I'd love for you to share a pivotal moment when you realized that your disability could actually be a gateway for your purpose.
Yes, very, very. Oh, I've just got soul bumps. So I'll take you back. It was 3.5. Well, I guess it was about 4 years ago. So I had a friend of mine I used to work with that told me like he helped me like create an Instagram profile about inspiring people. And I didn't really take consideration of that. And I was doing my thing. I was working a job 9 to 5, and then um going out every weekend, having fun, partying, all that stuff. And then I fell into um at the time I was working in sales in a job, and then I wanted to do this retreat. I never been to a retreat before, right? And I went to this retreat, got the company to invest some money for me to go for like it was like a business reset retreat, and learned a bit about breath work, ice baths and stuff. And I didn't know, okay, what's this? This is cool. And I realized how much benefit it had for my body. And then um so for some context, I this friend I had a couple of friends that helped me like on the journey of like physical well-being and all the well-being stuff. And this friend was one of my first mentors. And I got back from the retreat. This is in 2021, around end of August. I got back from the retreat and I had no phone. This is like a 3 4 day retreat. I had no phone. And my brother started calling me. I was like, okay, what's going on here? He called me. He never calls me. He always like messages me. And he's like, have you heard the news? I'm like, what do you mean? What news are you talking about? What news are you talking about? He's like, oh, the news about Brendan. And um, for some context, Brendan was my best mate. We talked every single day about anything, just how each other was, what we were going through, all the other stuff. And he was like, it's on the news. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I've been away from my phone for like the last 3 days. And he said to me, oh, they think that he's been killed. Like, okay, what do you mean? And Brendan served his he was in the military um for a couple of years, and that call really shifted my reality. I found out on that day after the retreat, my best mate got tragically killed in a military accident, which which is a blessing. I know people may be listening and may be like, "Oh, what do you mean it's a blessing?" Well, at the end of the day, we're either going to die or we're going to live. And people in our lives come into our lives for a season or for a reason. And he come into my life for both, a season and a reason.
Mhm.
That same retreat I went to was the exact same place he got married.
Wow.
And the moment he died at the accident, I was in a pub and we're celebrating before his wedding drinking. The same time that happened.
Mm.
So that's when I was like, fuck, I need to start living out my dreams, living out my purpose in life. And it took me a long time to unrail all the shit that I've been unconsciously embodying the last 30 years of my life. Still embodying and still diving deep into it, the wounds, the core wounds, to realize that is my essence. My essence is my personal power, is my disability, transforming that into inspiring other people to transform their life. And the biggest gift he gave me was showing the love I never saw within myself that he saw within me when he was alive.
Wow.
And now I have the biggest gift. He's in my heart. He's tattooed on me. He's he comes through. He's like my guardian angel every time I look out to the universe and just pray for miracles. He's there.
Love that. Thank you for sharing. Yes. Yeah, I think I can see how sometimes people go through massive life changes when either their health or their realities shatter or someone else is so close to them. So it makes sense that that was kind of like that wake up call for you to live your best life while we're here.
Yeah, and it's like I wasn't healthy. Like I was doing stuff in my life that weren't really beneficial for my body, for my mind, for my soul. And ever since that moment, my life has dramatically changed. And I got a reading a month after he died from a psychic, and she said, "Your life's going to change." And he was there. He was a blessing, and the beautiful gifts I'm able to do for people now since uncovering that through investing in myself, through doing coaching, through doing mentoring, I'm not now able to channel that stuff for people to help them. And it's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah. I was gonna say, ask you, what is the role of spirituality and inner work playing in your journey, and how do you integrate that to your coaching?
Role of inner work and playing that journey. Well, I feel inner work is so important for one, your mental clarity, two, your emotional well-being, and three, your your energy cleansing. Because spirituality, like it's funny because people are like, oh, spirituality, I don't believe in it. But at the end of the day, we're all made up of 99.9% spirit. Whether you believe that or not, that is up to you. Whether you don't believe in it, hey, go and research it. There's scientific facts about it.
Mm.
But it's so important because we've got to clean our vessel. We've got to do inner work. We've got to constantly clean us. It's like you go and, like, for example, the analogy is like you don't leave your dirty dishes on the bench for like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, right? You clean it up. You're
Mm.
not going to leave it sitting there. So it's the same with us. We've got to clean ourselves. We've got to wash ourselves in the ocean. We've got to be able to cleanse our energy from toxicity in our life. And that only comes when you practice inner work. And the work that I do with coaching is I bridge the gap between the spirit world and the physical world, and then bring that integrate into one to allow people to really feel the essence of who they are as a person.
Mm.
Because we've lost souls, like we've lost people in our lives, like parents, family, friends, grandparents, ancestors. We've lost people in our lives, yet they're actually still here in spirit. They're guiding us every step of the way.
Mm.
So I'm able to tap into that spiritual world, to the lost world, to the people that have passed over, and bring that in for people to feel that presence within their heart and come back to remembering who they are.
Mm. Yes, yes. And you also speak about opening the heart and creating presence. Tell me what does vulnerability mean to you, and how can people embrace it without fear?
Big one. For me, I was shut down many times, condescended on, picked on, bullied for how I expressed myself, what I said, how I acted, my behavior. And in essence, I shut myself down, shut my emotions down, and that cultivated an internal reality that I hated. I fucking hated it. I hated myself, I hated my family, I hated everyone around me. And there's still parts of me that I'm working through, which is why we practice inner work. It's an ongoing process, right? But vulnerability is massive. Like for men in particular, It's huge. Like people perceive it as this weak mentality, but in reality, like we're human beings. We're not meant to suppress our emotions. And for so long, I've recognized that I've been depressed. I've been depressed my whole life. And being able to express my emotions in a more authentic way aligns with people in my life. And they're the beautiful friends I've got, the connections I've made from being vulnerable. And I thought it was just sometimes I recognized only the last probably few weeks how I've used it to get what I want. And sometimes it doesn't always work like that. And it's just being able to be present with that and opening up the heart to allow people to feel that presence within inside of them.
Mm,
Because of my journey, because of my story, I share that with people, and that then creates a presence within inside of them of what's triggering them, what's going on for them that they're not expressing in the most authentic way.
yeah, I love that. I always believe we connect through vulnerability because we go on and on, autopilot. Hey, how you going? I'm good, and you? And that very superficial conversation, and that's keeping us isolated and comparing and thinking, oh, they're doing great. I'm not feeling great. I'm the only one feeling like this. And then, yeah, as soon as I open vulnerably, then the person responds in the same way, right? But we often expect other people to start instead of us starting being vulnerable. So yeah, I always put myself almost that challenge to be like, how can I open up and share something about me and knowing that that will create a flow and effect.
And this is the biggest thing with society. Like a lot of people don't want to share because they're too afraid of sharing. Yet in reality, we all go through it. We're all human beings. We're all connected in one way, shape, or form. And it's like the societal beliefs compared to like the what would you say conscious way of living, like holistic living.
Yeah. What are the biggest resistance people face when trying to show up authentically, and how do you help them overcome that?
Biggest resistances people face for showing up authentically is that they're afraid of what people will think about them. All my life, I've been afraid of people thinking about me. In reality, people don't give a fuck as long as they care about themselves. And
Mm,
the resistance is they don't want to share because they don't want people to know, they don't want people to find out all the stories about them, like the negative stuff. Like I can go into it in a deeper on a deeper version, but I'm not going to do that. And allowing them to overcome that enables them to fully express that, fully let go. Because once you externally let that out, that allows your thoughts to come out, and it feels so freeing. It's so liberating when you can do that.
mm,
And part of my message and part of my coaching and mentoring is to give people that space because I've been that person in a room that's not wanted to share because of being afraid to speak up, because of rejection, because of judgment, because of my insecurities. And in reality, that's the one thing that's helped me free myself to live the life that I can live now and do the things that doctors and nurses said I couldn't do because I'm practicing the inner work, doing all the 1% improvements to better my life. And that's only going to keep going and keep going and keep going.
yes. Yeah, I think vulnerability is so liberating. As you were sharing, I was thinking the same. And as soon as I feel charged on any topic or anything, I know exactly that's what I should be speaking into it. So either I go on my social media and share, or I have that conversation with that person. And, I talk about confidence all the time, but it's really about moving through that initial fear and resistance. And like you can feel in your body, it's so uncomfortable. I feel in my stomach, in my heart, like you feel that anxiety, you feel that stir up inside. But yeah, it's the courage to move through that initial feeling. And then I know 100% every time I share is so liberating. And yeah, you can feel the shift like straight away. You can feel that like, I don't
Well,
know,
for example, I could never
excitement.
feel that. I could never feel the stuff in my body because of the disease I was born with, I was diagnosed with. I could never feel that stuff
Mm.
because I was so numb to it. Because of the shit I was giving myself, I could never feel it. But now I'm in a place where I can feel every sensation in my body.
Yes. What's one powerful exercise or mindset shift you use to reconnect people with their truth?
Breathwork.
Yes, I love it.
Breathwork's massive. Like it's something I practice on a daily. Not big sessions, like that's probably once a month I do that. Whether it's being facilitated by someone.
Mm,
But like every morning I'll like get up, do a little bit of breath work, stretch. That's probably the most powerful practice I've used.
mm,
There's a bunch of other modalities that I've learned that can help, but I find breath work's the one thing that's helped me shift and let go of emotions, attachments, feelings, but also integrate it into one.
yes. And it can be done anywhere, anytime. It's free. We have it within ourselves. I talk about this all the time as well. It's like one powerful tool for regulating your nervous system, getting clarity, getting sharp mind. I notice myself a lot of the time, I just slow my breath and take big, deep, long breaths, like intentionally. But yeah, if I have time in the morning, I do it between 5 to 15 minutes, like a more potent breath work. But yeah, it's one tool that I actually
And
love as
simple, like simple breath work. Like if you're out in public and you get triggered by someone, you get reactive to someone. Like the biggest thing is just to come back to your center. Like breathe in through your nose 5 seconds, breathe out through your nose 5 seconds. That centers you back into your heart.
yeah. Yes. What are some misconceptions about people with disabilities that you wish more people understood?
Oh, thought once again. Um, Biggest misconception is people pity them. Like
PT, yeah.
people say sorry for your condition. Like what? Like I get it. I mean, I've been like that. I mean, I've been in that phase, and I'm only just transforming out of that phase of my life. And I thought I transformed a long time ago, but obviously I hadn't. But it's like like you go up to someone, it's like someone they see someone in a wheelchair, or they see someone that looks different
Mhm.
or on the outside, and they say, "I'm sorry for your disability." It's like, well, in reality, you're sorry for yourself for one, and two, you're you don't even know their story. So why would you be sorry? You've got to ask some questions. So be curious. That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing I'm learning. And we're never going to stop learning about this. And this is something that I hold dear to my heart is so much judgment. Like even this morning, I've got a disabled sticker in my car and I pull up to Burley and I look over my shoulder and there's this guy with his missus and I just see the look on his face like you know that like obviously it's like a look on his face like why are you parking in a disabled spot? You don't even look disabled. Like I could sense the energy and it's like without actually judging, just be. But hey, it's part of the society, it's part of the world. We can't get rid of that. And that's something that I'm here to try and shift and change.
Yeah, I think the reality, to be really real, is that we're judging everyone and everything all the time. That's completely normal. And having that
Exactly.
awareness and understanding, like, yeah, we're constantly judging because it's our brain assessing, is that danger, like all this like natural yeah, response from our brain. But like you said, meeting people with compassion and curiosity is such a big difference, right? And not feeling like I'm better or worse or different than you. Like we're all human beings, we're all doing our best in this earthly experience. And yeah, I love what you said, I guess. Compassion and curiosity. And that, yeah, and like you said, if we demonstrate that to others, it means that we're dealing ourselves as well with compassion and curiosity. So it's a reflection. Yeah. Yes. So, yeah, I feel like you have redefined what it means to live with a disability. How do you cultivate the mindset to see it as a heightened ability?
Well, the mindset to see it as a heightened ability is to look past disability. Like I've got friends that live overseas that have the same condition as me, and they're like doing things that other people wish they could be doing, or other people that inspire like they want to be doing. And it's like looking past that, and because it's all we've ever known, right? Like growing with disability, it's like we've just done our life the best way that we could. So I don't know any different from what I know now.
Mm.
And so to have a heightened ability is to know that your disability can shift the mindset of other people. Like if that person can do that, why can't I?
Mm. Yes, I share that all the time. I used to be so afraid of driving. Like my whole body used to shake. I was in a couple of car crashes when I was a kid. So obviously it was that like even subconscious fear. And I had the fear, I'm like, I'm gonna crash someone, they're gonna crash me, people will get hurt, the car will get destroyed. But yeah, one big mindset that helped me was like, if they can do it, I can do it. And literally looking, and like everyone drives, everyone's going up and about every day, all day, driving their cars. And it was something that I really wanted to have that freedom to have a car and just drive myself around. So yeah, I use that a lot and I teach my clients the same, like if they can do it, I can do it. And it's the same. I was talking the other day about sometimes feeling jealous about people in beautiful relationships getting married, people that are being successful in their business, making more money. They make all these things. I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it. I love that. Self-coaching tool.
Self-coaching, or instead of most people say I can't do it, instead of asking that, you can say, how can I do it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. What's one common thread you've seen people who successfully ignite their energy and step in their power?
Successfully not energy and step into their power. What common thread? I think it's their mentality, like their mentality on life. Like they keep going. I think it's a never give up attitude, right? It's the persistence of keep doing it. Like they know that like it's gonna happen. It's like never giving up, keep going. And a lot of people they give up before they even try.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. And sometimes, yeah, I feel like my business is hard and I think about giving up and I'm like, I don't feel like I can give up, and
You've
is it
come too far to give up. Like
exactly that's
you've
how I
invested too
feel.
much money, too much time, you've sacrificed too much to get. That's how I look at it. I'm like, I've come too far. I've invested too much money. I am not going to give up now.
Yeah. Yeah, and it goes back to that curiosity and compassion because I'm like, what else can I be trying? How else? What can I do differently? Like, yeah, being open and curious about what's possible instead of being like, oh, I want to give up because it's too hard.
Yeah.
Yes. And if you could create a starter pack for someone beginning their transformational journey, what would it include?
I love this question. If I could create a starter pack for someone on the transformation journey, what would it include? Three things come to mind.
Hmm,
Know your why. Like ask yourself the question, why are you doing what you're doing? A reflective question. Number two is invest in yourself. And number three is find the people who support you in whatever you're doing.
love that. So the starter pack contains a why question. We can do the 5 to 8 whys, go deep. Invest in yourself and surround yourself with people that will, yeah, support and lift you up.
And it all correlates, right? Like once you know your why, once you invest in yourself, the third comes into alignment because you'll recognize that the more you invest in yourself, the more you grow, those people will grow apart from you and you eventually cultivate that anyways in alignment because you know your why, you're constantly investing in yourself. And that's something I recognize last couple of years. My circles have shifted like 3 or 4 times over the last few years doing that.
Yeah, and it just made me realize every coach that I invested, the community that came with it was like it's priceless because yeah, the most beautiful friendships, partnerships, relationships have been from different coaching containers that I've been. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
You live a quite holistic lifestyle, and I know that's part of your work. So, what are some small practical changes people can make today to begin healing from inside out?
Hmm. I practical changes is to go to like as much as it may be uncomfortable for you, if you're starting a journey, if you're wanting to improve your life, is go to events that you feel are going to benefit you. And this is practical, like not just research them, not just look at them, like actually go to them. And this is one thing I find everyone sees me like, you're at every single event. And I'm like, well, I'm choosing my events now, but now I go to the ones that are going to alignment for me.
Yes.
Um, and another one would be to would like research is good. Like find people, like again, this comes from events, like find people that are living that lifestyle and then learn from them of what they're doing, whether it's asking questions or reaching out to them. Don't be afraid to ask, even though they may be like this person that is you may put them on a pedestal. They're just like you. They've just worked really fucking hard to get where they are,
Yeah.
and they're living the best life they can. So don't be afraid to reach out to them, ask them questions.
Yeah, I agree with the events part. So when I moved from Sydney to Gold Coast, I barely knew two people here that are not into personal development. And yeah, the first thing that I did was actually attend to a couple of events. And the very first one, I met you, I met Cody, started working with Cody, I met this beautiful community. And from every single event that I went, yeah, I had beautiful, again, relationships that form friendships, business relationships. Uh, but again, going back to what I said before, I had to summon that confidence and courage to go by myself. It can be quite scary. I know for a lot of people, that's what stopped them. And I always say also my mindset is I'll go. If I feel uncomfortable, I'll leave. Right. So you always have that freedom to come and go as you please from any environment. But most probably when you get to the place, that's when you will get the benefits.
Yeah,
So
well, I
yeah, I talk
found
about, getting dressed, getting excited, being like, what possibility I'm setting for this, and then making your way there and just making the most of it.
I mean, my first event I went to, I took my brother and a friend.
Mm.
Like, if it's a family member, ask him, do you want to come along? My brother knew this person before I did, and I invested, not him.
Yes.
And now they're on the journey as well. My brother's on the journey, so I'm very grateful for that.
Amazing. Yeah, and follow your intuition. I think a lot of the times we know exactly what events we want to be at. And then, yeah, if on the event as well, who you want to connect with, what do you want to do after, like you want to sign up for further connection with that person.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you have a mantra or affirmation that you live by that helps you stay in alignment?
One, I've got a couple of quotes I have on my mirror in my bathroom. One of them is from the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's like a winner never quits and a quitter never wins.
Wow. Yes.
And then a friend of mine mentioned this quote um, to me. It would have been, I think, about a few months ago. And I think it's if a man cannot protect what he wants to protect, he's not a man at all.
Interesting.
But
Never heard
that
that one before.
yeah, he it's from an anime, he said, but like it stuck to me because he's like, I'm like, oh, that's fucking potent. Like that's really good. Like if you think about it, if a man cannot protect what he wants to protect, he's not a man at all. It's like anything you do in life, your money, your relationships, your kids, everything. But the one thing I stick by is that Napoleon Hill quote from Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah, I love that book. Someone gave me the hard copy. I had it on Audible and I have a hard copy and it's so
Got it
beautiful.
here.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, I want to read the paper version. I have a little note on my bathroom mirror that says, blessings are always coming my way.
That is so, yeah, blessings are everywhere as well.
I don't even know where I got that from, but amazing. If you could have dinner with anyone, alive or dead, who would that be and why?
I've had this question numerous times before in my journey of life and self-discovery. Three three people come to mind would be Dwayne The Rock Johnson
Hmm.
because of his I love wrestling, so I've watched him ever since I was a kid. and because of his mentality, his mindset, what he does to the world and how what he brings to the
Is
world.
he The Rock?
Yeah, The Rock. Yeah, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Um, Ellen DeGeneres because of her. I don't know, just her energy. Like her energy is really cool. And oh, my friend Brendan. My friend
I thought
Brendan.
of him as soon as I asked the question. I'm like, yeah, are you gonna
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
say?
He just popped through then.
Yeah,
So
beautiful. Beautiful.
if I could, yeah, purely based off, we used to go to his house and have dinner all the time, and all the time I have barbecues and just enjoy the presence of life.
How long ago did he pass?
He passed a week before his 30th birthday on the 30th of the 8th, 2021.
About 4 years, almost 4 years.
Yeah, it's wild. It's crazy. It's been almost 4 years.
Wow. We're coming to the end. I'd love to ask you if you could leave the audience with one piece of advice or wisdom to carry on their day. What would it be?
One piece of advice or wisdom to carry on your day or your forever days, however you want to look at it. I'll give you two. Never forget you have the power within you to change your life. And number two is who cares what everyone else says? As long as you feel it, as long as you believe in it, fucking chase it. And also remember to be present with it.
I love that.
Sometimes I lose track of that.
Yeah. When I think of most things I did in life, I wasn't thinking about what anyone else cared. It was really just following my intuition and following what feels right
Yeah.
for me. And yeah, I always think like no one else is paying my bills. No one else gets to live inside my head. Yeah, no one else gets to experience life the way I do it. So yeah, I love that. Thank you. And how can the listeners connect with you further, learn more about any offerings they have at the moment?
Cool. So you can connect with me on Facebook, Instagram. I do have a podcast myself. It's called the To Be podcast, which is we share stories of other people's journey. We give people wisdom and we give them tools as well they can use to help their life. I'm on LinkedIn as well, Kyle Kyaln Current Currant. I'm sure that you'll drop the links and I'll send them through to you. And you can just reach out to me. I've got offerings at the moment, one-on-one coaching. I'm about to launch a little community group that I feel so aligned with as well. And reach out. I'm happy to answer any questions, whatever you're at in your journey, and we can have a further conversation. And if you're someone who has a story to tell, if you feel it's really vulnerable for you to share, it's really scary for you to share, maybe uncomfortable for you, reach out. I've got you. I'm happy to support you wherever you're at in your journey.
Amazing. I'll make sure to put the links on the description of this episode. Also follow me on Instagram, Lahaina Down. I'm currently running a masterclass, Bold Beginnings. It's all about starting the year feeling energized, exciting, setting your intentions for this year. Might not be specific goals, but more about, yeah, what direction are you taking this year? I'm super excited about that. And thank you very much for listening. Make sure to subscribe and share with anyone else you think will benefit from this episode.
Bye.